So today we're going to be going over some fragrances that I've personally had to scrub off before. That's how strong they are. You know, sometimes they just want to keep going to the point where they could last through a shower if you're not diligent about making sure that you really try your best to remove that scent. Because these don't just wash off with a little bit of soap and water and that's it. A good example is if you ever test any fragrances on the back of your hand. You know, a lot of times for normal scents, you go and just wash your hands like normal and it's kind of washed away just from doing that once. If you were to do that with these, you'll find that it's still kicking even after you wash your hands. So you really have to scrub these off and you would be surprised at how much these cling on. Again, this is just my personal first-hand experience with these. As always, performance, kind of like compliments, is a pretty polarizing discussion. Some people claim that they get good performance, others bad. It's just, it's what works for you. And the only way to find out what works for you is to try it yourself. So I want to hear from you first and foremost before you even start the video. Leave comments down below. What are some fragrances that are so strong that you've had to scrub them off too? They last through a shower or whatever it is. I want to hear from you and let's see how many of the ones that you say match up with what I have in my video. Now this first one is going to be Killian Back to Black. This stuff is outrageously strong. It is incredible. This one has honey, tobacco, cherry, vanilla. It's kind of hard for you to see that. But there it is. So that is a beautiful bottle presentation. They've gone through a few changes over the years, kind of some having this, I don't know, what is that, gunmetal plating, others kind of a gold plate as well, I think some of the newer ones. As per usual, that honey tobacco combination is kind of the star of the show here with this. It takes over the scent and it's great. It's a really rich, decadent mixture between a very syrupy, sweet honey and a smoky, strong, masculine pipe tobacco with the cherry and a whole bunch of other notes, to be fair, but those are kind of the main ones. Again, this stuff is brutally strong to the point where, yeah, you really have to work at scrubbing this one off to remove it entirely because it will stick around. Now, this next one is Roia Creation E. This is in the, highly concentrated parfum version. I mean, even just looking at the coloration, which, to be fair, doesn't really tell the full story. You can have something that is the same color and it lasts for 4 hours. It's usually just a colorant that is added to give you some sort of, visual appeal. And whether that is the case or not fully in this circumstance, it looks beautiful and it is just a monstrous performer. This one has cognac, tobacco, vanilla, benzoin, sweet vanillic with a boozy, smoky twist as well. It's a very premium, gentleman, masculine smelling DNA that just smells high end. It really has something about it that just, exudes this level of class and sophistication that I don't really necessarily get the same level of from too many other fragrances. This is kind of at the top of my list as far as having something that just smells ultimately premium and like pure luxury. The Parfum Cologne version is also very strong and going to be easier on the wallet too, but I'm going kind of all in with the Parfum, which is going to be the stronger of the two. This higher concentration really helps it to just cling onto your skin like a magnet for hours and hours. It really is something. You'll find that the projection is a tiny bit less than the Parfum Cologne. Typically, the higher you go in perfume oil concentration, the lower your projection distance is. And so you kind of see that a little, but it still will project out. A couple extra sprays will get you where you want it to be if you are shooting for high projection. More often than not, when I'm wearing something like this, something this classy and refined and just, something of this category, one, I'm wearing it for myself, and two, I like the scent trail that it leaves. Also, the higher you go in concentration, the better the scent trail will cling in the air just because it's heavier and a thicker scent bubble. And that's kind of more or less what you get. That's the trade-off. And I take that over projection distance any day. And this one does really hang in the air a lot. Great, great fragrance that not everybody's going to want to spend the money on. And there are clones as well, or the Parfum Cologne. There's ways that you can go about getting this DNA into your collection for a bit less. We'll do one more niche fragrance, and then we'll take a break and go to some more affordable stuff here, but I'll just throw these out there. These are just, to not include them would just not make sense, because these are, again, my personal experiences of wearing these and then being like, holy crap, I cannot get rid of this stuff. Ammoage, I almost said Reflection Man. Ammoage Interlude 53, the extrait parfum concentration. Reflection Man as well. The 45 extrait version, yes, it is a monstrous performer. 45% is no joke in oil concentration, and it does last a very long time, even though it's a bit fresher. But Interlude 53, it's just even more insane. Obviously, 53% concentration here. It is, it's kind of a funny one because we didn't need the original Interlude to be any stronger, but yet here we are, and it's just insane. You know, Reflection Man, that one made a bit more sense because the Eau de Parfum isn't really a beast mode scent, and the extrait version fixed that. But you know, this was already beast mode. It's kind of like Mancera Red Tobacco and Mancera Intense Red Tobacco. It was already one of the strongest fragrances that I own, and now they made it even stronger for no reason, really. This one has incense, opopanax, amber, and then smoke as well. So they're kind of doubling down on the smoky aspect here. And to be fair, you do get a lot of a smoky, wispy, earthy, warm spiciness about this one that it does make sense. This is definitely not going to be for the faint of heart. This is definitely not going to be for the guy who just wants a compliment pulling designer type fragrance. This is the opposite of that. True niche here in the fact that you are going to get something that is unique and not what you're used to smelling. These retail for over $500, but a lot of times you can get them on discounters. I believe the lowest price I'm seeing right now is $265, which is a hunk of money, but 100 ml, 53% oil concentration, that's not the worst I've seen. I mean, you take a look at some of the roses that we're talking about, 50 ml Parfum for $240, $50 or something. So perspective is everything, and at that price point, it's better than the 500 retail for sure. And so if you want to grab this one, I'll have it linked down below. It's kind of on a sale right now. I would maybe do that sooner rather than later. Let's go for Gucci Guilty Absolute up next. This one has been out for a very long time and has never been popular. A lot of people do not like this one, and to be fair, I see why. This one has leather, woody notes, some cypress, but it's basically all about the leather and the woods. Woody, it's earthy, it's kind of animalic from the type of leather that they're using here. I've heard this one described so many different ways over the years, and one of my favorite ones is smells like a tire shop. You know, I guess people kind of allude that it has a little bit of a rubbery smell to it, or just smells like rubber, I don't know. And it sounds stupid, it sounds weird, but when you actually smell it and you think about it, I 100% kind of agree there. If you've ever walked into a Firestone or whatever, and they have brand new tires sitting on the showroom floor, it has that distinct smell, and this kind of has a little bit of that as well. I wouldn't say that that is all that this is. It doesn't just smell like a brand new tire, but does have a little bit of that. Still plenty of leather and woods and a little bit of an aromatic touch to lighten things up, but it doesn't lighten it up too much. It's not really a blind buy safe fragrance, but you're kind of left with either buying a sample online and paying whatever that is, or maybe you get lucky and you find it in a store, which I think is just really not common at all these days. So that's kind of your only two options. For some, easier said than done to sample it first. Some people will blind buy this, and you know, you just got to be aware of what you're getting yourself into. That said, it is very strong, and one that I've definitely had to scrub off a time or two, because there are times when I kind of get a little bit tired of it and want to go to something different. This next one is a nice, affordable, relatively speaking, Farragamo scent. It is Farragamo Oud. Now, up against your usual Farragamos, like the Uomos and stuff, it's a little bit more expensive, but up against your usual designer fragrances, it is pretty reasonable. I think we're looking at about $60 or $70 usually for this. Not cheap, but also not crazy either, especially for what you get in return. This one has leather, oud, rum, tobacco. It's great. It is a phenomenal scent for fall and winter time, and completely unexpected. You know, this is kind of not what you're used to expecting from Farragamo. Again, just take a look at their Uomo lineup, which I'm not knocking. It's a fantastic line, but very much designer oriented. This is, to me, a strong effort at doing something truly against the grain, at least as far as what usual designer fragrance brands are pushing out. This is not really something that you would see all that often. It just has much more of a kind of a mature smell to it, which again isn't fully on brand with what a lot of Farragamo puts out, kind of younger smelling and just appealing to the younger audience. So this is, for a lot of people, a nice welcomed release from the brand. They have a few other fragrances in this line as well. They've got a fresh one, I think it's called Subtle. Well, I don't know, maybe not. I can't remember, but it's kind of in a bluish bottle, and I think I have it. Something along those lines. But they've got a few. These do date back a little bit. They've been out for a while. I don't know what the future holds for this one. I feel like at some point it just has to get discontinued, because that's what happens with every really good scent from brands that have been out for a while, it seems like, but not a huge worry right now. Grab this one when you feel like it for fall and winter use if you want something a bit different. We'll blow past this one really quick because it is blatantly obvious, but again, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. It just would be a disservice not to feature this because it is just so stupidly strong. Sauvage Elixir. It's got the cinnamon, the licorice, all the pepper, and nice creamy sandalwood, all of that stuff. All of that to say that it is a very long-lasting scent. Highly concentrated extrait here, and it's one that will just go. 14 plus hours is not a problem, and for me, you know, I don't overspray this one because it starts to annoy me. And so for people who are maybe used to spraying things on heavily, if you got things that don't last as long, you might find that if you go into this one with 10 or 15 sprays, you're gonna not be happy with that choice. It is just, it will continue to assault your nose for hours and hours. And I'm sure there's gonna be some people around you who maybe get sick of it as well if you're close quarters with them all day long. So, you know, 60 ml bottle, and it's expensive, $140 to $160, but a couple of sprays for most people, for most situations, is gonna get you everything you need and more. And so theoretically, a bottle of this size would last you a very long time, a lot of the time. You can opt for a 100 ml now too, but you know, I don't think everybody would need that. It's a beast mode performer. It's one that will not go away. When I first got this one in and I was testing it on the back of my hand, you know, it would not wash off. And any other time I've worn this one normally, just usually I spray on my neck, the back of my neck and chest and stuff. You know, you get into the shower and you get the water going. It's almost like that warm water reactivates the scent again, and it's just back into business. So definitely one that sticks around. Bulgari Man in Black Parfum. What a random release, really, because I mean, Man in Black, the original, has been out for so long, and then they've put out all of the flankers. You've got the Wood Neroli, Wood Essence, Rain Essence, Terra Essence, several more that I'm missing off the top of my head. And then randomly, hey, here's Man in Black Parfum, something that we probably, at least I've been kind of thinking of for a few years now, and we finally did get it. This one has spices, woodsy notes, a little bit of benzoin, and even just the faintest bit of iris way later on in the dry down. It still smells exactly like, not exactly like, it still smells very close to the original, which is an eau de parfum. And it does have some of that booziness, even though it doesn't list it in the notes. It's just stronger. And that's one of the things that has been a struggle for a lot of people, is the original Man in Black just doesn't really last as long. A lot of that was they were comparing it to Spice Bomb, which at the time was a completely unhinged beast mode scent. And so of course when you compare it, even if that one lasted 8 hours compared to the Spice Bomb, double that, it made it seem less. And so that was part of the problem. But they did release this parfum, which does perform noticeably better than the original Man in Black. Let's go for a good old Leighton exclusive. This was back when you could only get them in a 75 ml bottle like this, and so that's what this one is. You can get these exclusives in the 125s now. This one has oud, almond, vanilla, coffee, and really, to be fair, for a lot of people, this is plenty, this bottle size. It's so strong that when you're doing half the amount of sprays that you normally would need to, I mean, you could get a longer duration of use out of a bottle of this size. And also, if you have something like this that is maybe going to be a little bit more challenging and and maybe more difficult to pull off in certain situations, you wear it less, and so then it lasts even longer on your shelf, or just the amount that you have will go farther. So something to keep in mind as well when you're shopping. It's niche Layton, and it's as simple as that. For the people who were saying that Layton was too designer level and you're paying this much money for a designer, this is the solution to that problem. It has an animalic, earthy, heavier, stronger smell, and it even performs better too. There's going to be people who don't like this because it's too niche, it's too strong, it's too animalic, it's too earthy, it's too whatever it is. You cannot please everybody, and this is the perfect example of that. Some people will love it, other people won't, but you've got that option now, and yes, it is very strong. We'll finish this video off with Aaro Forever Wanted Elixir. I love this fragrance. It's got the leather, it has the cardamom, and of course raspberry. It's great. It really is nothing like any of the other wanted flankers, which is, that's okay in this instance for me because this is so good and it's done to perfection. That leather raspberry combination is just mouth-watering. It's absolutely beautiful. This is perfect for winter use. Fall as well, but this one's so sweet and it's so strong that when we get those, below freezing, even like close to single-digit wind chill temperatures here in the wintertime, something like this is what I'm going for because it's strong so it can withstand that, but it also is warm and cozy and inviting and just, I don't know, it works really well for that type of brutal cold temperatures that we usually do experience, January, February, and stuff like that. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances that are so strong, you just gotta scrub them off, and sometimes even that isn't enough. Again, these are just my personal experiences, but I wanna hear yours too. What are some fragrances that are just so strong, they don't go away, even after washing them off, they're still there a little bit? Let me know. Could be designer, niche, anything. I'm gonna drop links to everything down below, and hey, go check out my community tab here on YouTube. I'm posting really good deals there every day, discontinued stuff, great prices on testers, whatever. It could save a lot of money. Same thing, you can sign up to my mailing list as well, and we send out emails too, and typically that'll be the way to go if you want to be notified, because YouTube doesn't notify for really anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.